Hey, so I got considerable response to my video on the new and improved Roosh V, which Too Long didn't watch version. He's not. But anyway, the detracting comments fell basically into two categories. One was Christians who were telling me that I didn't have any business criticizing, how another Christian went about converting to Christianity, to which I would say, one, I don't believe, I'll reiterate my original point, which is I don't believe that Roosh is actually a convert to Christianity. I think he is just using the Bible to impose his own authoritarian whims on people, which is something that authoritarians have done for centuries. Two, one specific person said, that Roosh, this blows my mind. This is how blocked off people are. They said that Roosh should Roosh. He said they said Roosh does not owe an apology to the people to the women he fornicated with. They both owe an apology to God. Okay, I was not making that point. Listen to the original video. I never made that point. What the point I was making was not that he owed an apology to the women he fornicated with. I was saying he owed an apology to the women he himself has admitted to sexually assaulting. Do we understand? Do we understand that we're not talking just about a transgression against moral law, but a transgression, a malicious transgression against other people? That the atonement there does not just go to God, it goes to the other people that he has harmed. Which, and again, I say that with the caveat that I actually think most of what Roosh has claimed to have done in his writings about his sexual escapades and everything, I think that most of that is bullshit, and most of that is crap that's been made up. There's absolutely no reason to think it's anything else. And so I say that I say that with the strong caveat that most of these wild adventures he claims to have gone on probably never happened, or they happened in a much, much more milquetoast version than what he's actually reporting. And it's like a case of like James Fry and a Million Little Fibers, that kind of thing. So I make that statement when I say that, is he sorry for the people he's assaulted? I say that largely rhetorically because I still am of the opinion that probably none of that has ever happened, and probably he was just writing shit to hype up to hawk to his followers, his constituency or whatever. And then the person also said, and he took most of his game books off of the. He took all of his game books out of publication, which hurt his income. It's like, yeah, now he's selling other shit. I mean, so what? Anyway, so that said, I got this one. The other kind of response that I got was from people who were trying to defend the Manosphere, and I got this one comment that I want to respond to in particular because it's just so perfectly the Manosphere boilerplate propaganda. Now, before I respond to it, this comes from someone named The Observing Otaku. When I initially responded to them, to their comment, I just said, do you think I haven't heard all of this bullshit already? He responded, I imagine you have not, but I'm just throwing my words into the internet, didn't mean to offend. Okay, to him, fair enough, thank you. I am going to respond to this message in a very visceral and honest and probably angry manner to make my point. I am not attacking you who are the call yourself the Observing Otaku. I am not attacking you personally at all. Thank you for that. I accept that. A lot of people would have, when I responded that way, a lot of people would have puffed out their chests and wanted to fight. So I appreciate that you diffused and de-escalated. I appreciate that. I'm not picking a personal fight with you. And, just nothing but kind words and well wishes. That said, the reason I want to respond to this and the reason I'm going to respond in a very visceral, honest manner is because, to be frank, these aren't your words. What I'm going to read, these aren't your words. These are literally the same things that God knows how many Manosphere people have said to me over and over and over again. So my disagreement with the Manosphere, my animosity towards the Manosphere is not derived from a misunderstanding of what it is. It's derived from a very accurate, and very hands-on experience of what it is. So, he says, 3 points. Firstly, I don't know anything about Roosh V other than him being a pickup artist community, which is part of the Manosphere. Maybe he's a scumbag, I don't know, but something that you didn't get wrong in your video, I think you mean did get wrong in your video, and if I'm mistaken, please correct me. But you seem to be under the assumption that the Manosphere is entirely made of men who hate women and seek to actively control them, which is false. You see, the Manosphere, and yes, that does include MGTOW pickup artists and MRAs, actually is a space to speak on male issues and for men to generally congregate about issues in their lives, because Lord knows the whole of society treats men as disposable tools, while feminism deems them and their natural masculinity as toxic, which is utter nonsense. Okay, that last sentence there I agree with, that feminism treats natural masculinity as toxic and society as large treats men as disposable. I agree with that. That agreement is what put me in the orbit of the Manosphere in the first place. However, that alone, a broken clock is still right twice a day, so that alone is not a justification for the Manosphere and all that it is. Which, this thing you said, that it's a place for men to come and discuss their issues, etc., etc., etc. I've heard that 1,000 times before. No, it is a place for men to come and all learn how to have exactly the same point of view. It's a place for men to come and learn how to think exactly the same thing about women, about relationships, about society, about themselves. Over and over again, these people are just the pontiffs of the Manosphere are just selling you the same advice and the same trash over and over again. There is zero discrepancy, zero disagreement among the actual pundits of the Manosphere. It's all a unified message, and it is just there for. It's not there for you to talk about your problems, because it's there for you to be indoctrinated into thinking that your problems are all exactly the same and all stem from exactly the same source. That's literally the same mental process that college academic feminists put impressionable young women through when they take women's studies courses. It's not to convince you, the academic feminism that becomes activist feminism does not teach women, here's how to learn more about who you are and develop yourself and develop a unique individual perspective. It's here's how to blame all your problems on the patriarchy. Here's how to think about recontextualize every bad boyfriend you've had as an avatar of this force that's out to oppress you. And so the Manosphere turns around and does the same thing for men. It's saying, okay, here's how to, here is the sole unifying source of all of your troubles. 2 minutes of hate. Turn around and despise this. Become exactly the same person. We'll talk about how they're exactly the same person over and over again. I know I sound like one of the goth kids being like, it's conformity, but it really is. We'll get to that more in a second. But anyway, you said that, okay, to this point, but you seem to be under the assumption that the Manosphere is entirely made of men that hate women and seek to actively control them, which is false. Well, I know that not everybody in the Manosphere hates women and seeks to actively control them. I know that. But the way for you to say that and then write off the actions and beliefs of someone like Roosh V, where Roosh V has actually written about, he wrote his famous article saying he wants to legalize rape, which he now claims to be satire, which he was totally and completely behind it until he got the horrible backlash, and then he tried to sidestep and say it was satire. But he has an article on, it may still be up, in his original incarnation, he had an article on rooshv.com talking about how women should have their legal decisions made for them by men. And he lays out this horrifically dystopian vision for how women ought to be legally controlled by men. And he's writing in all seriousness. And this is vile. This is horrible. You have somebody, again, who his own claims of how he's interacting with and treating women are absolutely sickening and vile. I mean, look within yourself and be honest and realize that if he was treating your mother, your sister, your daughter that way, you'd be after him like a maniac. That he behaves in this absolutely horrible way. So for you to try to defend the Manosphere by saying, well, it's not all like that. Okay, right now there's a documentary on HBO called The Vow. And I've been watching it as the new episodes pour in. I've been watching it and really getting into it. The Vow is about Nexium. Nexium was a self-improvement cult run by a guy named Keith Raniere. And his little, he had a little, I guess you would say, concubine within Nexium, which was Allison Mack, the TV star who was on Smallville. And so Allison Mack and Keith Raniere started a program within Nexium called DOS. And it was a program, ostensibly it was set up to be a women's group within Nexium. So Nexium was supposed to be this self-improvement group for helping you with your career, helping you with your self-esteem, your public speaking, all of these things. It was supposed to help people, high-powered executives and celebrities and that sort of thing, much like Scientology. It was supposed to help you with all of these things, and within it, there was Keith Raniere and Allison Mack running a smaller group called DOS that turned out to be a human trafficking ring where women were blackmailed and coerced into providing personal information, money, resources to intimidate them into becoming sex slaves for Keith Raniere. So much so that they were getting branded with Keith Raniere's initials. It was a design that was Keith Raniere's initials and Allison Mack's initials in one. They're getting branded with this and being coerced into having sex with Keith Raniere. So basically, they were using it to funnel the most attractive women into being sex slaves for Keith Raniere. Essentially, he has raped tons of women. We don't have an exact number yet. He's still, apparently, he's still in trial and all of that. But it's clear from what's come out, this man has coerced many, many women into having sex with him. He deserves to be in prison. He should be there for a very long time. He's like 60 now, so he'll probably be there for the rest of his life, even if he doesn't get life. Anyway, the point being, there are people at Nexium that it's not around anymore, but there were people at Nexium that really cared about making you a better public speaker, about making you more empathetic, teaching you how to be a better friend, how to make more money, how to conduct yourself, how to talk to your boss and ask for a raise and all of this important stuff. There are people there that really cared about that. Not all of Nexium was Keith Raniere's sick, psycho sex cult. And so, you defending the Manosphere by saying, yeah, it's not all Roosh, holds about as much water as trying to defend Nexium by saying, well, it's not all Keith Raniere and Allison Mack. The positive stuff, the positive stuff that you think you're getting out of this is not a counterbalance to the horrible negative stuff. It's a carrot on a stick to get you in to the horrible negative stuff. At the height of his fame, Roosh was actually, Roosh did a thing that where he was trying to organize these meetups for men all over the world to get together and, like you say, talk about masculinity and being men and blah, 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 all this. Well, then, documents get leaked where it's revealed that what he was actually trying to do was set up militia groups. And so that's the reality of it. So no, I don't for a nanosecond buy this boilerplate Manosphere bullshit about how it's all just for us to get together and talk about masculinity. Fight Club becomes Project Mayhem. Sorry. Okay, goes on to, secondly, you strike me as the kind of person who believes in the concept of happily ever after or the concept of true love. Again, if I'm wrong, please correct me, but if so, I'd advise you to leave that shit for your fairy tales because that's not how human beings function as far as reproduction of offspring. While setting it solely While setting it as solely mechanical is a problem, I grant you something that science can explain, and I grant you seeking relationships is the opposite will only leave you disappointed. Love is something science can explain, and I equate it with being high on a drug that feels nice, but it wears off over time. In contrast, women tend to search for the best mate during the time they choose to date. That's why you see women dating coaches. Oh, wait, hang on. That's why you see women dating coaches quit sometimes because of increasingly high standards. Yeah, I've seen the Better Bachelor video you're talking about. When they don't deserve it. If you want full context, I'd suggest you check out 3 content creators on YouTube: Better Bachelor, Coach Greg Adams, and Donovan Sharp. Trust me, they give way better advice than the generic just be yourself nonsense. All right, I'm not going to go into great detail about my personal experiences, mainly because I have an NDA, but I have been face to face with many, many Manospherians. A lot more than you have, and at a lot deeper level than you have, sir. You know, it's kind of like if we were talking about Scientology, you would be somebody who's read the brochure. I would be somebody that's been on that cruise. Okay, so. First of all, yeah, Better Bachelor, I've seen a bunch of his content. I know all about him. These other 2 guys, okay, it's so funny to me. This is where I talk about the conformity. This Coach Greg Adams guy and the Donovan Sharp guy, they're both black guys who are Manosphere pundits. And it's so amazing. They always, the white men and other groups, other demographic groups within the Manosphere have these unifying characteristics, but it's like the black dudes in the Manosphere, they're all playing this same character, this same persona. It's like they're all exactly the same person. They all sound exactly alike. It's like this. If you a black man in Manosphere, you're going to talk like this. You're going to point at the camera with both fingers like this, and you're going to talk like this the whole time. And every one of them sounds exactly the same. And I had not heard either Coach Greg or Donovan Sharp, but I thought, they're going to talk like this. And I turned it on, and sure enough, they talk like this. It's like the same cadence, the same rhythm. They're just trying to. These guys are just trying to cash in. Go check out my website, hit up my Patreon. Check out my website, hit up my Patreon. I got some books for you. I got some things for you to buy. I gotta separate you from your money. Fool of money. They soon parted. And they talk exactly the same. And the other thing, and this brings me to, I today when I sat down to do this, I watched these other 2 guys' videos. I picked a video from each one to watch, and the Greg Adams guy, I watched a video he had on dating apps, meeting women on dating apps, and these guys, the Manosphere, they talk about sex like it's something you would never want to do. They talk about, I watched the video for WAP, for Wet Ass Pussy. I watched the video for Wet Ass Pussy, and the lyrics make sex sound completely revolting. The idea, it's like the idea of a woman being vaginally moist before sex, that's appealing to me. The sight of doors of a mansion bursting open and vaginal moisture spraying in this cavalcade flood is disturbing to me. I mean, that's, about a step removed from the scene in The Shining where the elevator opens. But anyway, and they talk about it it's the same sickeningly mechanical way. Roosh does it, all these guys do it too. And this Greg Adams guy, he's talking about, he's talking about dating apps. He says, you meet a young woman on a dating app, she gonna try to sell you some peace sleep. That's what that is. Ah! Peace sleeve? I mean, I thought that was what got Mario automatically to the end of the level in SMB3. But anyway, and trust me, they give better advice than the generic "just be yourself" nonsense. No, they don't. They don't give you just be yourself. They give you talk exactly like me, talk like this, get your house looking like my house. And it's not just the black Manosphere guys that do this. It's just I just watched that guy, so that's fresh in my mind. It's like, no, get your house exactly like my house, dress exactly like me, cut your hair like me, talk like me, act like me, do all of this stuff exactly like me, and then then you do that, you're gonna get some peace sleep, like. And you know, he even in that video he used the expression like, that woman is 40. By the time she gets to 40, she had her peace sleeve blown out by tons of men. You know, like her peace sleeve blown out. Like, God, why are you guys on this quest to make sex sound as awful as possible? I don't talk about sex that way, and I used to be an activist for the porn industry. God. Anyway, but the thing is, look. Now, he goes on to say, thirdly, I want to make myself clear that I don't personally care for Roosh V pickup artistry and the concept of game, even though I've seen it work many times. Pickup artistry does not work. There is absolutely no evidence to suggest that pickup artistry works. And if you just enter pickup artist fail or PUA fail on into YouTube, you can see countless examples of men, and I would add not students of this stuff, but people who claim to be actual capable practitioners that teach this stuff, who go out and make complete and utter buffoons. I mean, you know, there's the old saying, those who can't do, teach. And when it comes to pickup artistry, that is unquestionably true. Because these guys, there's video of these guys just striking out left and right. And the more famous ones, like Mystery, they get found out. You know, Mystery now cannot go, or Eric von Markovic, cannot go into a bar and meet anybody because everybody knows who he is and they think he's a joke. And so, anyway, the thing is, though, pickup artistry, here's the thing. I think it was Roosh, actually, who said that if you score with 3 women out of every 90 women that you approach, then you're doing a really good job, or you're doing really well with your game. And I thought, okay, I've had sex with more than 3 women, and I don't think I've hit on 90 in my entire life. So per capita, I probably do get laid more than he does. Anyway, you say you've seen it work many times. No, you haven't. You have seen the law of averages play in somebody's favor. The more women you interact with, the more likely you are to hit on a woman, literally and figuratively, hit on a woman who is interested in what you've got. And when your demographic, when your control demographic for women that you're hitting on is drunken bar skanks, the odds are going to be even higher because their inhibitions are down. One time I walked into Smith's Old Bar in the Virginia Highlands area of Atlanta. And I go in there, and I walk through the pool room, and in the pool hall. I walk through there up into the bar area, and there's a little stairs, and you step up to the bar area. And I go up those stairs, and this woman comes up to me and puts her hand on my chest and says, "Are you security?" And I said, "Do I look like security?" That was the only interaction we had, but she grabbed me by the shirt and pulled me into a booth and started making out with me. Sometimes all you have to do is walk into the room. So, no, the game shit is not working. It's just the law of averages. Eventually you're going to hit on somebody that's interested in you, and when you have that success, and the making out, but what happened next was the making out was all that happened. Like we made out for a minute, and then she got up and stumbled off to the next guy. But the thing is, the law of averages is going to play in your favor, and what happens is, the minute you're successful, the minute you actually, get another notch, as Roosh likes to put it, you get another bang, you're going to forget about all the times that you failed. You're not going, and the more success you have, the less you're going to think about all the times that you failed getting there, because you're going to get more confident, and you're going to stop and you're going to not be acting from a place of desperation. So once you're confident, you're not acting from a place of desperation. You'll be totally willing to go get those 3 hookups out of every 90 approaches that you do. There is nothing that you are saying to these women is making a difference in terms of whether or not they're going to fuck you. There's no mystery method to picking up women who are there to be picked up. Now, I'm not any good at it, but I know it's because when I go into bars, first of all, I don't know how you do game. You would talk to people in bars anyway, or work this game shit or this pickup shit, when most of the time all I can hear when I go into a bar is, you know, that's all it is. It's just the DJ. It's just noise. Just thumping noises. Anyway, my cat is worried. Anyway, that's the reality of it. You're just playing the averages until it pays out. I'm no good at it because I can't stand talking to people in bars anyway, and I generally don't like to go to bars unless I'm playing a show or there to see a show. And anyway, but there's no great trick to it. And what I have observed, the one thing I have observed is sometimes you have to be willing to get in a fight with another guy to hook up with the girl. I've watched that happen where, 2 guys have to, need to do the primal thing and fight over a girl. I've seen that happen. So maybe there's that too. Maybe take some self-defense courses and do all your katas drunk or something so you're ready for the effect. I don't know. But anyway, there is nothing to game. The mystery method is bullshit. Ross Jeffries is bullshit. Neil Strauss, when he was writing his style, was bullshit. Everybody, Tyler Durden, Rushby, obviously, Tyler Durden. I can list all of these people on and on. Matador, all of these stupid fucking names. It's all bullshit. It does not work. It's just law of averages. That's it. Anyway, he goes on to say, I'm more MGTOW than anything else, and I will not condemn you or anyone else for how they live their lives. But whenever someone says something like, love is beautiful, or I'm trying to find my one true love, or I know it's going to last forever, I just roll my eyes. It's not poison, Jordan. It's getting your head out of the clouds and back to reality. And that's the main thing I wanted to talk about. You said this in both paragraphs, and I want to assure you that the Manosphere had its desired effect on me. Before I got inundated with that shit, I used to love dating. I used to love going out with women. I used to love taking them out to dinner. And I didn't care even if I had sex, because I liked going out to a restaurant with a beautiful woman for an evening. That alone was worth the cost of admission. I enjoyed dating. I enjoyed meeting people. I enjoyed getting to know them. I enjoyed the fluttery butterfly stuff and the excitement and everything. I enjoyed all of it. And then I fell prey to the Manosphere. And it was not just one red pill that I took. I was forced to swallow bottle after bottle of the red pills, and I got about 500 red suppositories all at the same time. And then I got, the red nasal decongestant sprayed up my nose, and I got the red ear wash pumped into my ears, and I got the red eye drops, and I got the red skin cream, and I got the red the red insulin injection, and the red everything pumped into me. And now I don't have my head in the clouds because I can't even see the sky. I am so cynical and so distrusting on a lizard brain level that when I try to go out on dates now, I just sit there with a 1,000-yard stare, waiting for the woman to say something that's going to tip off one of the newly implanted red flags in my brain so I have an excuse to never see her again. Red pill dating, there you go. I don't think that, rest assured, you have gotten, I did not believe that message when I got accidentally inundated with the Manosphere. I did not believe that message. But, and I fought it kicking and screaming, but my brain broke by sheer force of will. You know, it was Himmler. I think it was Himmler or Goebbels who said that if a lie is told forcefully enough and long enough, it eventually becomes accepted as the truth. It was like my lizard brain, my amygdala was just completely snapped. You know, it's kind of like my parents have a dog, this black lab mix named Andy. When they got Andy, I went over to their house to meet her for the first time, and that dog is terrified of me. From the minute she first saw me, I remind her, she was a rescue dog. I remind her, I'm sure, of somebody in her past. I don't know if it's the hair or the smell or the voice or something. When she sees me, she is terrified. She's barking and shrieking and pissing everywhere, and we don't know what it is. We've tried everything, you know, like the dog behaviorists will tell us to try, where it's like, you know, give her treats as soon as you walk in the door, or you know, everything, or just sit X number of feet away and wait for, you know, all of this. Nothing gets through to her, because on that visceral level, she is complete. There is something in her that sees me as an automatic red flag, and she's done. And we can't get through to. There's no cognitive process in her that we can appeal to get her to like me. And I hate that, because she's a really sweet dog, but that's beside the point. That's where I am, thanks to the Manosphere, when it comes to dating and relationships. You have won. You have gotten the point across to me. Look, I've seen Better Bachelor, and now I've seen these other two guys, and they're exactly like every other Manosphere commentator. These people are not teaching you how to be happier, better, more successful people. They are cynical assholes that are teaching you how to be cynical assholes, because that helps them cope with their own disillusionment. It's something human beings do. We just somehow feel better about the world if we can get other people to hate the world for the same way we do, for the same reason that we do. And all of you assholes have won. All right? With me. I have completely accepted that when it comes to love and relationships, the world is an empty, joyless place full of bitter, cynical cretins who are totally self-interested and out for nothing more than a neurotic need to inflict their past traumas on other people. And I'm not being sarcastic. I really and truly see the world that way. And I wrestle with this all the time. I wrestle with this poison that's in my brain, this toxic poison in my brain that's telling me, you don't have game, you're going to die alone. You don't have enough money. You don't have enough money to, and it's in the dude bro voice. Look, bro, you don't have enough money to score the top value women. You don't have enough game to score top value women. You're going to be a beta provider, bro. If you get a woman, she's going to be looking for a beta provider, okay? That voice haunts me constantly. To the point that on that, just like Andy, on that visceral level, it doesn't matter how sweet and kind and decent the person is, on that visceral level, I automatically go into mode. You convinced me. You don't have to tell me otherwise. Because I can't cognitive behavioral therapy my way out of that. I don't know where the exit door on that is. I'll give you an example. I don't like to talk about my personal dating life because it's none of your goddamn business. But in the last year, and I mean the last 365 days, there have been 4 women that I was attracted to, that I met, that I was attracted to. One of them we got as far as actually, having sex and talking about being in a relationship and all of that. And I had to end it because I couldn't calm down around her. I couldn't deal with it. There was another one. I'm not going to go through all of them, but there was another one that I was talking to online, and she said, we were talking about what love meant to us, and I was curious, what does love mean to you? And she said this thing. It was something about trying to find a man that's secure in himself. She said, like, trying to find a man that's secure in himself, and this is not verbatim, but not constantly needing me to be a mother figure for him and prop him up, and meeting someone that has their lives together and all this. And my immediate response was, oh, so you're just looking for Mr. Perfect and you're just looking for the man to be perfect and provide you with emotional support while wanting nothing in return. Is that it? And and again, that's not verbatim what I said. It's basically the idea. And she was like, "Whoa, sorry, I clearly touched a nerve." And she like backed off at that point. And I shared that with a female friend of mine who set me down. And this is why I say it's not verbatim, because she like went through everything that this woman had said, and she said, "No, it's not about you." She was not talking about you at all. You need to look at what she's saying. This is someone who has been in toxic codependent relationships in the past, and she wants to be with someone that's not going to take her down that road again. And explain to me what was actually said. Now, I'll throw in, by the way, I do have Asperger's. I am so far to one end of the spectrum that I basically have 1 foot outside the bell curve, but technically, yes, I am on the spectrum. And so, this very paranoid, cynical way of interpreting everything appeals to me because it's a way of, or it naturally appeals to me because it's a way of simplifying things that would be otherwise confusing and unclear. But anyway, this female friend of mine explained all of that to me. I went back to that woman and I apologized. I said, "Look, I realize I think you probably don't want to move forward at this point, but I realize you were really trying to say yes, this, and this, and this." And she's like, "Yes, that's exactly what I meant." And consequently, I lost an opportunity with somebody that I actually really liked. Thanks, Manosphere. And I am so sick. Look, I'm not an idiot, okay? I know that I've been in relationships. Christ, it's funny, it's like, my ex-girlfriend is in one of my videos from way back when. It was about, she had gotten a hashtag trending about the Brexit thing. And so I put her in one of my videos, and of course she's like this the whole time. But people were like, their minds were blown. Like, these Manosphere assholes, their minds were blown like, really? How can he have a girlfriend? He didn't do anything that we told him to do. I've been in relationships. I know that it's not, happily ever after Disney princess, we roll the credits shit. I know it's not that. I know it's more complicated than that. If I had to personify my my views on relationships by pointing to a specific artist, it would be Leonard Cohen. I love Leonard Cohen's perspectives on relationships and how he digs into those strange little moments that we don't normally talk about, and also looks at the big moments from different perspectives. That's what I want. And I know that it's not all sunshine and rainbows. I'm not an idiot. But now, thanks to a certain amount of post-traumatic stress from dealing with the Manosphere, and no, it's not PTSD on the level of what soldiers get or anything. I'm not putting it on that level at all, but there is a certain amount of trauma associated with it. I'm out, man. I'm done. And so people, now you're going to say that and say, "Oh, so you're a MGTOW." No, you fucking twit. I'm not in your fruity little club. The people, the Manosphere twits that are just obsessed with putting you into a little box and deciding what box you're in. And it's funny. They don't ever seem to classify anybody as alpha. They go by the Vox Day personality chart, which is, why is Vox Day right about these personality categories? We don't know. He's got no evidence to support it. He can't explain why it is. It's just Vox Day said it, so it's right. And if you disagree, you're a gamma. So the world is somehow divided into alphas and betas and gammas and epsilons and sigmas and deltas and all of this shit, and they all mean different things down to omegas. And the only one that's good is alpha, and everybody else gets defecated on. And that's where I learned that I'm an omega male. So yeah. I look back at the person I was before, the person that enjoyed dating and had hopes for the future as far as relationships, and what I see is somebody that was acting like a self-absorbed twit who had his head in the clouds, like you say. I really do see that. And it's just like all this red pill shit. This is what's funny. All this red pill shit comes from The Matrix. And I'm not going to redo, if you haven't seen The Matrix, you haven't seen one of the most popular movies of the last 20 years, like, go watch it and come back to me. Anyway, so no summary there, but what does the red pill and blue pill do for you? Okay, if you take the blue pill, you go back to your life living a comfortable life in a cosmopolitan megacenter with all of the creature comforts you could possibly want, and everything is fine and dandy. Or you can take the red pill and live in a hole in the ground in the center of the earth and be hunted by robots. And somehow, and somehow we've convinced ourselves, that's why if I was a character in The Matrix, I would be Cypher. I would just be like, fuck this shit. I'll tell you where all the bodies are buried. I'll tell you where everybody's hiding. Just plug me back into the Matrix, and I want to forget about all this bullshit. Like, I have, zero contempt for the Cypher character, because that's exactly who I would have been. And that's the thing. We've all this red pill shit, we've convinced ourselves that, one, that it's the truth, that being a bitter, angry, cynical asshole is the truth. Two, we've convinced ourselves that, we've convinced ourselves that being an angry, bitter, cynical asshole is preferable to the alternative. And the thing is, at the end of the day, the manosphere is built around fear. The fact that fear is phonetically hidden in that, or telephonically hidden in that phrase is perfect. The men of fear is what it should be called, because you are afraid. You're taking your past traumas and projecting them onto the future unilaterally, and thinking that you're enlightened because you're projecting your cynicism and your traumas onto everybody else's lives and everybody else's problems. I know people who are in happy, successful relationships. It's out there. It is to be found, and people have been finding these relationships without joining your fruity little club. But I don't pursue it anymore, because I am at a point where I realize that every attempt on my part to find somebody is just now it's just me trying to prove that nagging voice in my head wrong. That's the manosphere. So you win. I am not. You're wrong about that. I am not hoping to find true happiness. I'm wishing to find true happiness. I'm not hoping. I don't think it's out there. tell you about another one of those women. And this is the one that I met that really, I was really into. Like I thought, I was just, this chick's amazing. I am so into her. I want this to go somewhere. You want to know the reason why it didn't go anywhere? Was because I told her that I didn't deserve to date her. And she was, what? You know, her mind was blown when I said that. I said, you know, this woman that I had met, she was in like the corporate executive world. You know, like she was a, you know, think like, you know, if you've ever seen, you know, Sharon Stone in the movie Sliver, basically. Think about that way. Like, beautiful woman, absolute 10 if we're using that. I hate the 10 scale, but we'll use the dialogue, or the dialect. So she was an absolute 10. She had this very high-powered corporate job, had tons of money, and she was into me, of all people. And I said, I don't deserve to be with you. And it's like, what are you talking about? I said, I don't have as much money, or I don't have enough money to be on your level. I don't look good enough. I'm not good looking enough to be with somebody like you. You know, I used to think I was reasonably attractive. The Manosphere took that away from me. And I know what you're going to tell me. I know what you're going to try to tell me. You say, look, bro, we're not telling you you're not good looking, bro. You can looks max and go up 2 points. That you don't understand how that's taking it away from people, but it is. Anyway. You know, I said, I'm not good looking enough. You're out of my league in terms of looks. I don't have an impressive career that, like, I can't stand next to you at a party and justify being with you. It's like people are going to feel sorry for her being with a loser like me. And she was like, you know, and the thing is, she took it personally. She said, so you think that I'm so shallow that I care about how much money you have? That I care about what you do for a living? You think that I'm some kind of shallow idiot like that? And that's the thing. You know, I let these insecurities that had been foisted on me by the Manosphere keep me from being with a woman that I think had the potential to be absolutely amazing. And she's shut out of my life now, unfortunately. You know, now is done with me. That's the Manosphere for you. That's what it does. You're not making men better. You're just making their lives more cynical and more aggravating and more empty. I know that there are relationships that last. You Manosphere twits act like divorce is the natural end result of marriage, the same way feminists act like rape is the natural end result of sexual arousal. My parents have been married almost 50 years. And I know other couples whose relationships have lasted until one or both of them died of old age. I've seen it. Not every woman out there is some shrill harpy that's looking to screw you over and take your money and trick you into raising children that she had with another man. If you continue to assign the negative traits of one person or even a whole group of people onto the entirety of women, you are going to live a very cynical, sad, and miserable life. And you're going to call yourself a MGTOW to justify your inability to function in the world. I mean, that MGTOW shit, it is no better than... don't get me wrong. I understand not wanting to be subjected to the pressures of a relationship. Now, that's a whole other discussion. I've had relationships end because the women realize that this thing right here is my one true love. I understand all of that. But making it some kind of lifestyle, no. It's just about being comfortable with who I am. And if I meet somebody that wants to share my life, great. If not, bye. But you're going to call yourself a MGTOW. And the MGTOW thing, I'm sorry. It's the goth kids. It's whatever. They're all a bunch of conformists. I don't want to hang out with them anyway. They just look at them all in their group where they're a bunch of friends that are happy and enjoy being with each other. And it's way more like I'm way more enlightened just being over here by myself, like cutting myself and smoking and standing over here by myself with my pasty white skin. Yeah, like they're they're just a bunch of conformist zombies. I'm the enlightened one over here. Yeah, no, you're just justifying your own inability to function in society and make friends and function and enjoy people. That's all it is. It's all just one giant, flaming, worldwide, internet-based circle jerk of sad, bitter men. And you know what? I am certain you're going to read this and you're going to send me 10 paragraphs, a 10-paragraph comment that you think I'm actually going to read. It's going to be a 10-paragraph comment about how your ex-wife screwed you over, about how this woman screwed you over, and this woman, and I know, and I believe you, and I believe that all of those women exist, and I believe that they did exactly the things they claimed to do to you, and I've had similar things done to me by women. There are horrible people out there, and being a horrible human being does not delineate along gender lines, both genders, of which there are only two. Both genders are completely capable of being total assholes to each other. I'm not denying that at all. What I'm saying is that if you use that as the guiding principles of your life, all you're going to do is be looking for those things in other people and you will continue to find them. You will look and find it. You will, you get what you go looking for, and you will attract more people like that, and you will find more people like that, and you will get more and more confirmation bias in favor of your asinine belief that everybody is evil and everybody's out to get you. And you know what you can do to, you're going to get to a point where you're going to reach a boiling point, where you're going to snap, and you're going to be so bitter and miserable that you can't stand it. And what you're going to do is you're going to justify that in your own mind by trying to make other men as bitter and angry and cynical as you are. And then when you have your own legion of men who are as angry and bitter and cynical as you are, you can finally get some smug satisfaction. Because you have made other people miserable like you. And you're going to say, oh, I'm just teaching these men, I'm helping these men. No, you're not. You're not accomplishing anything. You're not accomplishing anything by teaching people to admit defeat before the battle's even started. Life is not easy, it's not fair, and it is going to be an uphill battle for most people. But we do not do ourselves any favors by acting like the spoils of victory are not worth pursuing in the first place. Anyway, I hope that gets it across to you that I know what I'm talking about when I say that the Manosphere is a horrible place, when I say that it's disgusting, and it's full of disgusting people, and it's full of gullible rubes that are giving their money to disgusting people. I know what I'm talking about. Now go ahead, tell me how if I cut my hair short and wore a button-down shirt instead of a t-shirt, I could attract more women. Tell me how I need to paint over all the blood stains from when my cat lost a tooth and then sneezed. Well, I need to paint over all of that shit. Tell me about all of the things that you think I could do different. And that's what's going to happen. If any of your favorite pundits analyze this video, they're going to go at me and tell me what I could do differently to optimize my life. And that's not to help me. They are not trying to help me when they say that. Understand that. They are trying to put their critics on a lower echelon than themselves so that you won't listen to them and you'll keep sending them money. That's all it is. Again, yeah, I know if I had the wardrobe, the look, the hair, and the wardrobe of a Hugh Grant or a Christopher Reeve or someone like that, and presented myself that way, I know I could have a lot easier time with women. I know I would. It's not lost on me. But this is how I like looking. And I'm only interested in people who are interested in me for how I like looking. You know why? I'm going to lay some knowledge on you. I'm going to say something that you think is absolute blasphemy, but it's true. And that is, women are people. Just like men, women are people. And yes, there are biological factors that are fundamentally going to shape a fundamental difference between how men and women view the world. That is true. However, that does not mean this was my constant aggravation with the Manosphere, was this thing of like they act like women are completely devoid of rational faculty, completely devoid of cognitive function of any kind. I'm going to surprise you with something. Women can think. Women can take in information and make rational decisions about what they do and don't want. That is completely within the realm of female capacity. Women are not estrogen-powered computers that you have to hack into with game. So I'm not, you talk about using game and all of this shit to score women. All you're doing when you have to do that, when you have to present yourself as something you're not to get women to like you, you're not using game, you're lying. Ow, I hurt my teeth. Anyway, you're lying. That's it. And you're not going to be able to lie to them forever. They're not irrational. They are rational beings. They are sentient. They are cognizant. They are going to realize when you're lying to them. And they're going to realize that they've wasted time with someone that's completely full of shit, and they're going to move on. And if they don't move on, you know what? I'll do the coach whatever thing. If they don't move on, they're going to take you for all your money. They're going to know you a sucker, and they're going to take you for all your money. That's what's going to happen, bro. Hit my Patreon. And they're going to, that's what they're going to do if if they stick around once they realize that you are this fake bullshit person. You can't fake who you are forever. You cannot, and that's the thing. I listen to the Manosphere shit, and they're trying to figure out how to prolong pickup artist game to the point that it functions across a decades-long relationship, and it won't work. You can't lie forever. I'm a long-haired, heavy metal musician freak. That's who I am, and I like being that. And if a woman doesn't want me because of that, tough shit. And by the way, I do comb my hair when I go out. I mean, that's not a total lost cause, but if they don't like me for how I like presenting myself, okay. I don't want those women anyway. God. So there you go. I hope that made sense. And for the love of God, for the sweet, beautiful love of God, if your response to this video is to sit down and go, okay, bro, so I heard what you said, and the thing is, you don't realize that you need to TL5 to the C4K of the TRS-80 Model 3 to the blah, 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 so that'll score you some gain, bro. We're gonna optimize your bangs, bro. Which, when you say optimize your bangs, I just think. But, yo, we're gonna optimize your bangs, bro. We're gonna up your notch count, man. We can do this together, bro. I believe in you, bro. If that's your response, please, shut the fuck up until such time as you realize that you are not being you. You are going through a bunch of fake bullshit that a bunch of fake bullshit artists have taught you to do. And please, for the equal love of that sweet, merciful God, spare me your bullshit. You're not going to tell me anything that I have not already heard 50 billion times. And now here's Donna with the weather.